let's talk about sports. The Celtics are awesome.
Celtics are
The
awesome.
referees are not awesome.
Oh, who's the referee team tonight?
Don't rush. I'll
Who could
show
it have
you.
been?
I'll show you a picture.
Who could it have been?
I
Who could it have
tweeted
been?
this.
Yeah. There he is.
There he is.
There he is. Yeah, refs were weird.
But the thing that sucks is that like there was definitely a lot of missed calls on the Celtics end, which like we were upset about. But there was a lot of Cavs fans upset online as well. So like that's just bad officiating.
Yep. No, it seemed just bad. At first, I was like, "Oh, I like this. Just letting the boys play." And then I was like, "Well, that's a foul." Well, that's
And then they're calling soft fouls randomly.
Yeah.
It's either let the boys play or
100%.
that should be the only option. Don't blow the whistle all day.
Just don't blow the whistle ever.
Yeah.
There was a couple awesome moments in this game. They blew a lead. Well, they didn't actually ever technically blow the lead, but came back.
Dude, so go ahead. At halftime, I was like this Cavs team just doesn't have it. They're not like they won't be able to be better. Like they're just not better than us. No one can guard Tatum on their team, which is still true. No one can guard Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
and we can guard Darius Garland. We can guard Mobley, and then I was like Donovan Mitchell's going to eat. Like he's Donovan Mitchell, but still at halftime, I think he had 13 points on 14 shots. So like our defensive front court, and then you had Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Like just no one's scoring on them. Like you have good guards and good depth at guard position. We have better. Like it's just better.
We're just better.
And that's what it was at halftime. And then the third quarter, Neemias Queta is the worst basketball player on planet Earth. Isaiah Mobley looks awesome. They're switching onto him nonstop. Donovan Mitchell is scoring at will.
Mobley's going to be the guy that if they're going against us, like it's going to have to be Mobley. You know.
Yeah, but if Kristaps is back, I'm more confident.
True.
That's the whole thing with this game. We didn't have our, in theory, third best player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, Mobley is going to have to be something. They shot so poorly in the first half that I was like, oh, we're just defensively that good. But obviously, water finds its level. They're one of the best shooting teams in the league. Actually, I think they have like the best 3-point efficiency ever, something like that.
Cleveland?
Yeah, so far through the first 17 games or whatever it is, 16 games.
Yep.
And then we pulled through. I don't know. What is your? Do you have any? What do you got?
Well, first of all, with the Cleveland point, like, it takes me back to, and this can parlay into your little point you want to make in a little bit, but Kenny Atkinson, like, was the head coach of that Brooklyn team that was awesome with no one on their team, like D'Angelo Russell and Karis LeVert. Then Kyrie and KD decide they don't want him there, and he gets fired. And who does he? He goes and just hangs out in Golden State for like 3 years. You know, not a bad place to be. Was going to be the Charlotte coach, backed out of that, went back to Golden State. What a shock! He's really awesome, and these also.
And all of a sudden, the 6 players on the Cavs are shooting career highs from deep.
Shocker! What a shock! They are just so much better, the Cavs, than they were last year. Which is interesting because they weren't bad last year. They were good. And just watching
I mean, teams get super hot, and also they're healthy now. They were super banged up last year.
Yeah. Like just comparatively to what I watched them in that playoff series last year versus now, I'm like, ooh, okay, they're really good. My awesome moments were like Pritchard winning that tip. So awesome.
Awesome. Pritchard hitting that 3.
That 3. So sick. Horford, those 2 blocks with like 4:30-ish left.
Back to back, kind of.
Back to back. So sick. JB with that crazy acrobatic
layup.
Sealer. Another thing that our friend Stan Van Gundy mentioned, that buzzer beater that Cleveland hit, meaningless, potentially not so meaningless, because point differential in the NBA Cup matters.
Right. I wanted to talk to you about that. If you're in the locker room, what do you think Joe Mazzulla is hyping the boys up about? Because I had some notes on like what he's using for motivation. I mean, to me, it's that the Cavs are undefeated coming into Boston.
To that point, I think this could have totally been like a weaker-minded Celtics team, maybe whatever. I know they just won the chip, but like, is totally a spot for them to get steamrolled. You know, maybe it's like oh, like, you know, we should be the guys, but it's like still it's just fucking November. We just won the chip, you know. And so I love that whatever he said worked, because they're like, no, like, we take this seriously. I know it's just a Tuesday in November, but they're coming into our court. They're running the East right now. Like, no, bro, like we run the East still. And the
Celtics also just lost to the Nets. So it's like, I think Joe was like, you guys are playing, like, but I don't think the NBA Cup is a motivating factor for Joe Mazzulla. Because I think in the pregame or something, they asked him and he's just like, what motivates you? And he just said winning. Like every game he just wants to win. So I think getting the NBA Cup chip and all the extra money what it comes with it. Like, I don't think he cares about that
I don't think so either.
particularly. I think if it happened because they won, he would be fine with it.
Yeah,
But I
it'd be
think they're
weird
just
though, because he would be like, I don't care about
it
this.
might be like the Jimmy Butler Eastern Conference Final championship.
I think it'd be honestly the NBA really does not want the Celtics to win the in-season cup. They would so much rather
Yeah.
like the Pacers win it.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah, because it'd just be yeah.
Well, they just care more, and the Celtics would be like, "This is meaningless," which it is. But the fun joke is that like it isn't meaningless, and that's what we need to convince ourselves of.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I get the fun part to it, and it was
oh, it is fun.
ended up being awesome last year. So
That, and yes, true. And also, just tonight in general, you made a note about ratings. If you'd want, like, we can get into that.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
this game, fucking massive win for the NBA. It was
Hmm.
getting billed all week. It's been getting billed all weekend as this big game, and it's again Tuesday in November. Yes, it's a in season tournament game, NBA Cup game, but like, you know,
And
15 undefeated Cavs, and it was awesome. It was awesome. The
it
game
was
was so
great.
awesome.
It delivered. It delivered.
So that's good.
I think viewership has been in the tank because it's just impossible to watch games now.
Agree.
Like, just put all the games on TV. Not all of them, but like make League Pass super cheap. Make it easier, or else people are just going to illegally stream it. Like, you have no.
Yep.
If you just make it cheap and accessible, like majority of the games, like every Celtics game should be on national TV.
This is a crazy comp, but
Just
we were
buy like
talking.
two more TV channels because who gives a shit?
Yes,
Put them on Max, put them on anything. Because like, why
yes.
does it?
Put them
If
all in
if
one place, whatever it is.
yeah, whatever,
Yeah,
just show them all.
yeah, or at
Because
least two
people will
places.
watch them, and then you're getting more money that way
Yes, yes. We
and
talked
more
about this.
attention instead of people on Stream East. It's also like I think a lot of people would say it goes back to the quality of the games not being as good because like people are just foul baiting, humming threes,
Threes.
like
Yeah,
the defense, like offensive efficiency is super high right now just because of the way the game is.
yeah. I don't even know if I buy that. I buy the first point way more. You
I
know.
would too, but I could see that if well, like I would never tune into a fucking like Hornets Wizards game, but
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either. But I'm at least like comparatively to like 10 years ago. Like remember those Philly teams? Like remember like there were some unwatchable teams. Now it's like, dude, Lamelo Ball is awesome. Wemby's awesome. The
yeah.
Wizards are like fun sometimes, which is
I mean, if
completely
there was a decent draft class this year, the Wizards would have a stud, and then you could watch that. Like it
yeah,
would be like the Spurs last year, like Wemby.
exactly. Whoever Cooper goes to. But this is a crazy comparison. But we were talking about it over the weekend when we were together. But like a massive reason why Fortnite blew up the way it did and was the
Is that it's
biggest game in
free.
the world for 4 years is because it was free. Everyone could just get it,
Yeah,
and it's
and they
so
made so much
everyone
money.
played it, and they made so much money. They were the biggest game in the world, and
I
like
think
I
if
know
you're
that
any sports company or like NBA Sports League, if you sacrifice a little money now with your TV deals and everything, you will end up making more in the long run because it'll
I
get more
agree.
attention, it'll get more views. Like that's just I think how it would work.
I agree, dude, and
Although I'm
like
sure there's smarter people trying to figure this stuff out.
well, it's just the bottom line. Like it's just people looking at the bottom line. It's like we're gonna lose money next year, and it's like yeah, but I think you'd make it up in everything else,
It's also tough because it's so easy to access highlights on social media now.
Yeah. Well, that's why the NBA wins is absolutely social media.
Yeah.
I think a lot
What
of my
about the fact that the games just don't fucking matter? That's why no one watches baseball. Not as many people watch hockey,
that's
and
why it's a
everyone
huge
watches the NFL and college football.
yeah, that's why tonight was a huge win because
A huge win, but like if we
doesn't matter,
lost,
but it was good.
it
Yeah,
wouldn't matter at all.
I know. No, that's a
Maybe
tricky.
less playoff teams. Maybe instead of having literal 10 team make the playoffs and only
I would say
6 teams miss.
I'm always just like less games, but
Yeah, I mean, cut the season to 70, less injuries. I mean, there's also like stars sit out every other night. There's a lot of problems with the NBA.
there is, and it's weird because I'm like, there's certain ways where it's the best it's been in 10 years, but then there's other ways where there's a lot of problems. So
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of old like basketball highlights. Pretty much all Steve Nash. I've just been on a Steve Nash kick the last couple of days. But those
love it.
games are like random games like Jason Kidd versus Steve Nash, and like it's just
Just
electric.
sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Interesting, interesting. There's definitely going to be some changes coming, I think, to the NBA. Anything else Celtics wise? Jason Tatum. I mean, Tatum's
I
on
mean,
a Tatum feels on a different level, which is crazy because I don't know. Like he was as good as he was last year. He feels on a different level again.
no, it's just his shooting is he's just shooting the ball well right now.
Way better.
it could be the new jumper everyone's talking about. I also was the thing I kind of skipped over earlier is the Cavs are probably the second best team in the East. I don't think they have anyone to guard Jason Tatum. Like Georges
It would be
Yang.
Okoro who didn't play, but I don't know.
Okay, Okoro. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
but
still, he's not as big and physical as Tatum
no,
is.
yeah, I wouldn't be. I'd be intrigued to see that matchup because I think Tatum would like he'd be 5% less successful at doing the stuff he did tonight, where he just like bulldozed his way into the
Yeah.
paint, which I
And
love.
then, but then that
Best that.
also leaves like Darius Garland on Derek White.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah.
Good luck there.
Yeah.
Which yeah, Derek White had a great game. So yeah, that's all I got. Celts land.